Anyways guys, let's construct quadratic formula. From the given equation we have ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, and we're gonna do that by completing the square. Okay guys, here as you can see we have x squared, and this tells us that this equation is nothing but the quadratic equation. Okay, however, let's not complicate things guys, but let's just follow these steps from step number 1 up to step number 3, then we will be done guys. Okay, from step number 1 we're gonna do it like this. We will move constant c to the right hand side. Alright, okay guys, why are we saying c is a constant? C is a constant because as you can see here, a it goes with the variable x, and b as well it has the variable x, while c it doesn't have any variable. Then let's quickly solve this one by step number 1. We will get ax to the power 2 plus bx equal to negative c. Why negative c guys? Because c here was positive, and if we bring that to the right hand side we will get negative. And don't forget that this step is followed by making the coefficient of x squared to be positive 1. X squared is this one guys, and the coefficient of x squared now is a, but to make the coefficient of x squared to be positive 1, we will just divide every single term by a, because a is the coefficient of x squared. If we divide every single term by a, we will get ax to the power 2 divided by a plus bx divided by a equal to negative c divided by a as well. Okay guys, let's go further and simplify this one, because a and a will cancel, then we will be left with x to the power 2 plus bx or plus b over a times the variable x equal to negative c divided by a. Here now we have our nice equation. As you can see, x squared plus b over ax equal to negative c over a. Okay guys, from here we will just do it like this. B over a is nothing but the coefficient of x. Okay, from number 3 we will just do it like this. Add half of the coefficient of x and square it. Okay guys, here is the x that they're talking about. Then the half of this coefficient, the coefficient of this x is nothing but b over a. Then we will add half of this coefficient, and in the meantime we're gonna square it. Okay, let's go ahead. We will have x to the power 2 plus b over a times x itself plus that half 1 over 2 times b over a. Let's square it guys, equal to negative c divided by a plus that half times b over a, and also squared. Okay guys, from here we will just do it like this. X squared plus b over ax plus 1 times b is b over 2a squared. And here as you can see we have squared, and here we have squared. We can just write this or we can just put them inside the brackets. Then we will have x plus b over 2a inside the brackets and all squared. equal to negative c divided by a. Then b squared will just give us b squared, b to the power 2 divided by 2a squared will give us 4a squared. Okay guys, let's just recopy this. X plus b over 2a to the power 2. Then if we copy that, we will have x plus b over 2a whole squared equal to, okay guys, here as you can see, we have to take the lowest common denominator between these two, a and 4a squared. The lowest common denominator between these two guys is 4. The lowest common denominator between these two guys is 4a squared. Okay guys, if we take that as our lowest common denominator, we will have 4a to the power 2. And this time around, because here we already have a, then a and a will cancel, then we will be left with 4a. Then 4a times negative c will give us negative 4ac plus, okay, here we have 4a squared, and here our denominator is 4a squared. Then 4a squared will divide with 4a squared, then we will left with 1. 1 times b squared will give us b squared, then b to the power 2. Okay guys, from here we can just do it like this. To get rid of this this squared, we will just bring this squared to the right hand side, and if we bring that to the right hand side, it will give us square root. Then we will get x plus 2b 2 x plus b over 2a equal to, because we are bringing the square root guys, then we will have something like equal to plus or minus, sorry, we will have plus or minus, we will have plus or minus the square root, we will have plus or minus the square root we will have plus or minus the square root of guys we will have plus or minus the square root of we will have plus or minus the square root of let's rearrange this this one. Then if we rearrange this, we will get b squared minus 4ac guys, minus 4ac over 4a to the power 2. Okay guys, as you can see guys, from here we have 4a squared, 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 we have 4a the square root of b squared minus 4ac will give us minus 4ac all over 4a squared. Then if we remove the square root here, we will be left with, because the square root of 4 will give us 2, and the square root of a squared will give us a. Then here we will be left with x equal to, then let's bring this b over 2a to the right hand side. Then it will give us negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of guys, the square root of what? The square root of b, the square root of b to the power 2 minus 4ac divided by 2a. Why divided by 2a, guys? Because here we have removed the square root, since the square root of 4 is 2 and the square root of a squared will give us a. Then let's continue. Guys, if you have plus or minus, we have the fraction, and between this fraction we have plus or minus, meaning that we're gonna take out the lowest common denominator. The lowest common denominator of this one is just 2a. It's just 2a. Then x will be equal to x will just be equal to what, guys? X will be equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of what? The square root of b squared minus 4a c minus 4ac all divided by 2a, guys. That's it, guys. We have arrived to our answer. We have obtained a quadratic formula by completing the square. Okay, guys, thanks for watching and enjoyed watching the video.